I'm a little bit nervous to share all of this with you. I am spilling all of my secrets, all of my favorite tools and websites that I use on a regular basis as a brand strategist. My name is Kate Putnam. I'm a psychology-driven brand strategist. I've been in online business for a really long time. I started my first business at the ripe age of 16. I don't remember what year that was. Did that through college and then started as a marketing and brand strategist in 2012. So I'm a dinosaur in online years, which means I have plenty of time to find all of the best resources that I'm going to share with you in this video. 26 of my favorite tools and websites that you are going to love. All right, my chair is turning around. Okay. If you want me to do a deep dive into any of these tools, how I use them, how I maximize them and get the incredible benefit out of them, let me know in the comments. Or if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. The links to all of these are in the description below. Thank you so much if you sign up to any of them that include an affiliate link. Some of them do, some of them don't. It helps fund my software addiction. And it doesn't affect the price that you pay for any of these tools. Let's get into the list. We're starting with visuals. Having an online presence requires that you pay attention to the visuals, and it's one of the key components that brands can use, whether you're a personal brand or a corporate brand or something in between, an influencer perhaps. Visuals communicate. They are symbolic of deeper meaning. So we want to be really intentional about the visuals that we're choosing. I love the website coolers.co. Coolers.co is a tool that I use to generate color palettes, to explore different color palettes, to create them, and then also to export all of the data from like hex codes to the CMYK, print values, and anything else that you would need regarding color. They have a really fun option where you can just hit spacebar, 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 and flip through a bunch of different palettes. But more often I use the import screenshot option and I pull in a mood board that I've already created for the brand and then have the tool create and generate a color palette based on that screenshot. Next tool. Sometimes you want to do a little bit of snooping and find out what fonts, what typefaces that different websites are using, and you can actually do that. There are a bunch of different tools. I'm not partial to any of them. If you just search for, I think, WhatFont plugin, you'll find a bunch of different options. They all work. And once you install that into your browser, you can enable it, left click, and you can find out exactly what fonts, weights, sizes, etc. that different websites are using on their website. You can even upload images that have text in them to different websites like myfonts.com. This is less accurate, but it will sometimes identify the fonts that are present in JPEG images. Maybe this is blasphemy, but my third favorite tool in the visual category is Canva. So I subscribe to Canva Pro, which means that I can upload my signature brand fonts into Canva itself, and it is just so darn easy. I am a professional. I know how to use Illustrator. I am a pro in Photoshop. I know how to use InDesign, and yet I love me some Canva. I use Canva all of the time to build social media graphics, to build presentations, proposals, slide decks, literally everything. It makes it just so easy. I highly recommend it for anybody that is in online business. Canva Pro. Fourth tool in the visual category is my beloved website builder. It is a website theme, a WordPress theme called Divi. It is a theme that lays on top of the generic install of WordPress, and you can use their what you see is what you get builder to build websites. They also have a bunch of templates built in. It is really fantastic and relatively easy to use and infinitely customizable. So all good things. For images, tool number 5 or website number 5 is Unsplash. Unsplash is continually getting really great new content from amazing creatives around the world and has some really fantastic royalty-free images that you can use in your brand legally. which is amazing. I would say the only downside to Unsplash is that their images tend to have a certain style, a certain look about them. And if that doesn't match your brand really well, then you're gonna have a hard time finding content. Sometimes the diversity of models is a little bit tricky to find. Because the content is all user submitted, you tend to find a lot of young people that are shown in their images, not a lot of age diversity. Just be aware of that if you're using Unsplash heavily to source content. I like to supplement that with my sixth favorite website, which is iStockPhoto. This is a paid image subscription, and they just have a massive library of stock images that are all legal to use for your brand or your business for corporate reasons. There are just more options here. So we can find content that is a little bit more niche or specific to different things, just a lot of beautiful, gorgeous images. You also have the ability to filter by their signature quality, so you know that you're getting the best of the best. But of course, you still need to find images that fit your brand standards and are in alignment with your brand messaging, but it is a fantastic tool. And then our final website in the visual category is Creative Market. Yes, even as a brand strategist, I routinely buy templates. It just speeds up the design process. We don't do this when we're creating custom designs for clients, of course, but for myself and my brand, and as a recommendation to the students that I teach, Creative Market is fantastic. We don't want to use the templates right out of the box. We want to apply our brand standards to them so that they are unique and specific to our brand. But having that starting place of either the Canva templates, or if you're buying Photoshop templates, Illustrator templates, whatever it is, it just makes things move so much more quickly and is a fantastic resource that I use all of the time. I've even curated archetype specific collections on Creative Market. So if you know what your brand archetypes are, you can visit my collections and use that as a starting place for finding on brand resources for yourself. Moving into the words. Words are equally important in communicating our brand, and some of my favorite tools are as follows. I love the OneLook Dictionary. This is my first place that I stop when I'm researching or brainstorming names for myself or for my clients. It seems to come up with more out of the box or like less common ideas for me. You can search for words that are related to a concept. So like you can find words that are related to snow, not just synonyms or antonyms for snow. You can start with some very conceptual ideas. You can even look for kind of like cliches and phrases on that platform. And it's a really great tool that I use for particularly for naming, and then also for revising generic copy to include some more on brand language. Second tool I love in the word category is a AI copywriting tool called Jasper. Jasper is a game changer. I'm gonna record another video that does a deep dive into how I use Jasper, but if you are the type of person who doesn't love writing, where it doesn't come easy, or you're just trying to speed up that process or not have to rely so much on copywriters for your brand and your business, Jasper is mind-blowing. It can help you write blog posts, video outlines, titles, ads, social media posts, emails. It's incredible. Third tool that I often use in the writing space is Grammarly. I am notoriously a bad speller and I am not fantastic with grammar, and everything that I publish gets processed through the premium version of Grammarly to finesse and refine the quality of the words that I'm putting out into the world. Fourth tool is kind of words, and it's one that I spend way too much money and way too much time on, and it is where I buy all of my URLs, GoDaddy. You don't necessarily have to use GoDaddy, but whenever I'm doing research for a new project, like a new mastermind, new product of mine, I am always on GoDaddy just brainstorming options, seeing if I can find a really great .com or .co for that project to live on. So I count that in the words bucket. Something fun just happened recently. I had a request to buy a domain that I owned, and negotiated a sale of $4,000 for one of the many domains that I own. I'm probably about break even now with all my domain purchases after that transaction. My fifth favorite word tool is actually one of my own that I've created. I have 12 different archetype courses that I regularly use myself as a resource tool. Now, these aren't free, they are an investment, but they're a huge shortcut when it comes to coming up with language that is specific to your archetype. There are word banks, like literal spreadsheets inside the courses as just one element of it that give you on-brand words that are specific to your brand archetype. Whenever I'm working on a client project, I am literally going into those spreadsheets, literally going back into my own training that I've created to generate story prompts and naming ideas and on-brand language for that project, for that brand. Moving on to video. Video has one of my other most favorite tools, which I'm also going to record a longer video on because I cannot keep the secret to myself, and it is Descript. I need to add like angels singing. Descript has literally changed my online business massively for the better. It is a tool where you can drop either video or audio files into it, and then it automatically does a transcription, and then you can edit based on that transcription. So instead of having to find the spot in the video where you start whatever you want to cut out of your video, you can just find it in the text transcript, highlight it, press the delete button. So it makes editing video as easy as editing a Word document. It's incredible. I use it for transcribing all of my courses. I use it for editing all of my videos. I use it to sometimes transcribe my own subtitles for, say, like YouTube. Other times I use another tool that I'm going to share in a moment. But when I'm doing it myself, I start with the Descript and then I go through and edit any of the mistakes that it made, which are not many. I also use it to cut out the long pauses that happen between words and or any filler phrases like ah, or in my case, so. That's my bad habit. It's just magical. So if you are editing video, you need Descript, whether that is for courses, for YouTube, audio for a podcast. Next website that I use for creating video is my favorite place to find royalty-free music and sound effects, and it is artlist.io. Artlist has incredible quality. I use it for all of my YouTube intros. We use it to source the sound effects that we use throughout YouTube. It's just good. The artists on there are so freaking talented, and it's all royalty-free, so you can use it for commercial purposes, for building your brand, wherever you need music. Third video tool is a stock video site called Storyblocks. I have used Storyblocks to splice in B-roll into my YouTube videos. And then I've also used it, this is a really fun use case, to create what I call a future movie. I got this idea from Joe Dispenza's Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself book. He recommends having this future movie play in front of you that is an open eye meditation to remind yourself of the future that you want to create, the future that you're stepping into. So my future movie has a voiceover that I did myself that has like this hypnotic script and then a lot of I am affirmations built into it. So like I am charismatic, I am confident, I am generous, I am wealthy, all of these things. And then I have images of like a Tuscan villa and skiing downhill in some glorious powder. I have images of a dinner party and friends coming together in a really beautiful space. I have stock video of beautiful food that I want to eat and enjoy. Storyblocks is a really great place to find stock video if you need that. And then the final video tool that I kind of half mentioned was when I'm not doing my own transcriptions of my own videos, I do like to use rev.com. Rev is a little bit more expensive, obviously, because you have another real human, but it is an amazing time saver to not have to do that yourself. And their accuracy is incredibly high. Rev.com is amazing if you need subtitles or transcriptions of your videos or calls or any other audio or video content. Moving on to marketing. Marketing tools that I love. I suppose that my website tool could have fit underneath marketing, but I put it under visuals, neither here nor there. For social media, I use actually 3 different scheduling tools because I am a stickler. I love using tools that are just built for the intention that I'm using them for. And I haven't found a single tool that does everything amazing. I use Planoly for scheduling my Instagram grid. I use Buffer for scheduling more text-based content to my Facebook page. Sometimes I dabble in Twitter or Facebook groups of different courses, that kinds of things. And then I use Tailwind to schedule to my Pinterest account. Probably have some redundancy there, but I really do like all 3 for different reasons, for different use cases, and I'm using all 3. For email, which includes all of my email automation, plus all of the just-in-time like campaign emails that I send out, I love ActiveCampaign. Reason I love ActiveCampaign is because it talks with my Facebook ads. So I have that integration between those 2 platforms. They're speaking to each other, and I can refine the way that I'm targeting and strategizing my ads based on what I'm doing over on ActiveCampaign. I leverage Zapier. I love that I can pay for a software that is $20 a month and it replaces like a whole person's worth of activities. So whenever something happens on one platform, it transfers all that data over to another platform, and it just is that glue that holds a lot of these different pieces of software together. If you want a larger video about how I'm leveraging Zapier, I'm happy to do that. Let me know in the comments. And then finally, my last favorite tool that I use for marketing is my quiz platform, which is tryinteract.com, or Interact Quizzes. This lead generating tool is the best that I've tested, and I've tested them all. And I have other videos about that, so you can check those out. But if you're wanting to create your own lead generating quiz, I highly recommend Try Interact. The conversion rate on them has been the highest that I've seen. And if you want to learn more about how to create your own lead generating quiz and you want to shortcut, get my entire behind the scenes strategy of what I'm doing on mine and all of the mistakes that I've made in the past that have now been rectified, check out my Convert with a Quiz course that walks you through every single step to create a high converting quiz. And then lastly, let's talk about just some miscellaneous tools, the more serious ones, if you will. I use Teachable to deliver all of my course content, and they're amazing. I couldn't run my online business without Teachable. They're also kind of my de facto payment processor. They do speak with Stripe, but all of the checkouts are happening on Teachable. So it's nice that they are managing the tax implications and VAT taxes and sales tax for different areas, and all of that is just managed within that platform, which I appreciate a lot. And then of course, the actual user interface for students is impeccable. I have all of my courses and different offers set up there. The other way that I receive money is when I invoice my one-on-one clients through Quickbooks. Quickbooks is amazing. As a small business owner, it is what my bookkeeper / tax strategist has access to, and I have access to, and we can just keep track of everything that's going in and out of the business with that tool. And then finally, the business bank that I'm currently using that I love, especially because they just added something new, is Novo. If you've ever read the book Profit First, you are familiar with how that author recommends having different percentages assigned to every dollar that comes in. A certain percentage should be going to your operating expenses, a certain percentage should be going to your tax liability, another percentage should be going to profit, and so on. And Novo recently updated where they have what they call reserves, and you can do exactly that. For every dollar that comes in, you can assign a different percent to go into different reserves so that you don't have to think about it and actively manage that. It's magical. Really a fan of that. So there you have it, 26 or maybe 27 of my favorite websites and tools that I use every week as an online brand strategist and online entrepreneur. Links are below, and I will see you guys in the next video.